Hey, what's up everyone? This is Dom, and today we're checking out the Samsung Galaxy S6. We're going to do an unboxing and sort of a mini review. I'm going to give you some camera tests, a look at the software, some of the new features, and first up we are taking a look at specifications. Internally, the Galaxy S6 is packing an Exynos 7420 octa-core processor with a quad-core 1.5 GHz processor and a quad-core 2.1 GHz processor. We also have 3 GB of RAM, a 5.1-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display, 16 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front camera. But first, before we get into anything else, let's check out what's inside of the box here. Of course, we do have the Galaxy S6 there on top, so let's move that aside. And the first thing you will find here is a micro USB charging cable. Now, this will pair up with the fast charging block that Samsung provides, and Samsung says that will get you about 50% battery life off of a 30-minute charge. So use that fast charging adapter with the cable and you can charge up faster. Next up here, we have a SIM card removal tool, and we have a pair of redesigned headphones, which I will let you know more about in the full review. So leave a thumbs up if you want to see that here in the near future. Oh, and also we do have the documentation, quick start guides, and stuff like that if you care to read it. So here is the Galaxy S6, and as you can see, it has a completely different design when compared to the S5. And I'm personally a fan of it, but there are some compromises. First off, you're losing the removable battery, you're losing micro SD card expansion, and you're losing the waterproofing found on the Galaxy S5, but overall, much better design. That being said, the Galaxy S6 does feature built-in wireless charging, so that's definitely a win in my opinion. And overall, TouchWiz between the S5 and the S6 is mostly the same. It's a little teeny bit toned down and a little flatter, but overall, that's about it. So let's go ahead and power up the device for the first time, and we will take a look at some of what I think are the noteworthy software features, and we'll do some camera tests a little later on. But I have to tell you, when I first got this on, the screen is absolutely beautiful. I saw it at MWC 2015 when it was announced, but seeing it in person is a whole different story. Super crisp, 577 pixels per inch. You just can't go wrong with that many pixels. Now, on the back side, I want to point this out, that this is the Sapphire Black model, but it's actually more of a dark blue. At least when the light hits it, as you can see here, it kind of turns into like a darker blue color, which I think is a cool feature. But on the back side, we do have a 16 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, and we'll get into some video and camera tests in a little bit. We also have the flash and the heart rate sensor underneath that. Now on the top here, as you can see, we have our IR blaster, a small microphone, and on the bottom we have a headphone jack, micro USB port, microphone, and speaker grill. On the side, we do have our lock button and our SIM card tray there, and on the other side we have our volume buttons, and these are in the same place as they were on the Galaxy S5. On the front side, you'll find a 5 megapixel camera along with the earpiece and appropriate sensors, and at the bottom portion we have our capacitive navigation buttons and a new home button. It's actually a little bigger than the one you'll find on the Galaxy S5, but it's got an improved fingerprint scanner, which I can definitely appreciate. So hopping into the settings here, I'm going to show you how to set this up. It's much easier than it was on the Galaxy S5. They've ditched the swipe style sensor that was found there and replaced it with something that's very similar to Touch ID found on an iPhone. So you just rest your thumb on the button, it takes your print, and you do that repeatedly until it finishes the process, and unlocking this phone with your fingerprint is a breeze. Literally, all you have to do is place your thumb there on the home button and it will unlock. Very simple and easy to do. Jumping into the software more, we actually have the ability to completely theme the Galaxy S6. So if you're not a fan of TouchWiz and don't want to run a custom launcher, you can actually completely theme the user interface using one of the themes available in the theme store here. So as you can see, I'm loading up one called Space. It completely swaps out all of the icons, changes the colors within the user interface, and you get a totally different look. So that's up to you if you want to choose that. I wish there were more themes available in the theme store, but I'm sure that will come in the future. But as you can see, everything is completely different on here. Even the notification shade has been changed, which is definitely something I can appreciate. As I mentioned, on the backside next to the camera, you will find a heart rate sensor, which was first introduced with the Galaxy S5, and things are pretty much the same. Fire up the S Health app and you can check your heart rate. One question I've seen floating around the past few days is people want to know how much storage is available on the Galaxy S6. Now this is the 32 gigabyte T-Mobile variant, so it could change based on your carrier, but here, after the operating system and pre-installed apps are there, out of the box I have about 24.5 gigabytes. Now speaking of bloatware, Your carrier might have more than this, but I want to show you what's on the T-Mobile version. So first up, we do have the Google apps, which you'll find on every Android phone pretty much. And next we have Microsoft apps here. So only 3 of them, not too bad. We do have a Samsung folder filled up with 7 different apps, including Milk Music, Milk Video, and the Peel Remote app to control the IR blaster. Next, we have a social folder with Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp. We also do have the Facebook app and Amazon app here and other default Android apps. And we have a T-Mobile folder with 6 apps in here. Now, you can't actually delete the bloatware, but you can disable it. So pretty much any kind of bloatware that's on there that you don't want to see, you can disable it and stop it from using resources, though I wish there was a way to delete it to free up a little bit of that precious space. One thing I have really been enjoying on the Galaxy S6, which is quite a surprise, is the stock keyboard. It's actually very fluid and easy to type on. I'm a huge fan of it, actually. Almost so much that I don't even care to download the Google keyboard at this point, which is a shock because that's what I do with every single Android device that I get. It's that good in my opinion, but you'll have to be the judge of that for yourself. As far as performance goes, everything is very fluid here on the Galaxy S6. The animations are a tad slow, but that's not a deal breaker. Now for benchmarks, in Geekbench 3, we have a single core score of 1436 and a multi-core score of 4989, and I will be sure to link this benchmark down below in the description in case you want to check it out for yourself. As far as battery life is concerned, I don't want to get too in-depth on this topic within this video because I want to save it for the full review, but during the making of this video, I drained about 35% of the battery life on the device and got about 90 minutes of screen on time from that. So you can do the math and average that out, but again, this is out of the box. I don't have any of my apps installed or anything like that, just kind of using it bare bones right now. Let's talk about my favorite topic of the day, which is camera performance, and in my opinion, this camera is great. I was testing it outside, taking some pictures. Everything is very crisp and clear. I really don't have a single bad thing to say about it right this moment as far as pictures go. The depth of field is nice, the colors are popping. It's just a phenomenal camera all around. I think Samsung has done a very good job here, but there will be more samples to come, and if you want to see like a full-on camera comparison between maybe the S5 and the S6 or the iPhone 6 and the S6, leave the video a thumbs up, but as you can see here, the camera quality appears to be great. Now, when you get indoors, the camera quality does decrease a little bit, but there's still a lot of detail involved. Even in low light situations, you can see pretty much everything. Now, when you get into really low light, it does start to fall apart. There's no surprises here because I would expect this of pretty much any other camera under the conditions, the low light conditions that I was taking the picture in. But overall, stand-up job for Samsung on this camera. Now, as far as video quality goes, it shoots up to 4K video UHD resolution, and everything is pretty clean, as you can see. Now, I did see some artifacts while I was doing this walking test to test out the optical image stabilization. Right in the middle, you can actually see some artifacts pop up. Not a deal breaker, but I hope that's not a permanent thing. Now, I did take some selfies with the front-facing camera, which turned out pretty clear, and the front-facing camera also has another cool feature. The front-facing camera actually shoots up to QHD resolution video, 1440p, and here's a quick demo of that with me walking. So that's about it, folks. You got a camera test, you got some software features, some benchmarks, and unboxing. This is what I like to call a mini review, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave this video a thumbs up as it does help out the channel a lot, and be sure to subscribe for my full review on the Galaxy S6 and Galaxy S6 Edge in the near future. I really appreciate you watching, everybody. Thanks again. This is Dom, and have a great day.